whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman! Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman! Well... Don't do it, Cartman! Well... I'm warning you! Okay.
Hello, peasants.
Want to kill all humans?
We're there, dude.
We'd like some money.
Yeah, money.
Money is cool.
Aren't you ashamed? We got whores in the city. We need backup now. Don't be so dang literal.
Well, you've got one heck of a nerve.
Oh my God, the government is here. Run!
Hey, barkeep, whose leg do you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
Ich bin ein Springfielder.
Shut the hell up. I've got the strangest feeling someone's gonna kick his ass.
I'll sneak
All
over.
right. Ben said to do my thing while he's sneaking off. But hey, guess what? 199. Hell yeah, man. One episode.
199, man. 199 times we have sat down to do this. Are we experts yet?
You have what?
Are we? Are we experts yet?
I think so.
If you figure we average 2 hours a show, right?
Yeah.
So if we've done 199 episodes, we're,
I think so. I mean, I think I run the live stream. I mean, I still have some technical difficulties, but I think I actually finally understand the software after like 2 years of figuring it out.
so in 100 episodes, if they're roughly 2 hours each, well, some give, some take, but like let's call it that. That's 200 hours plus another 200 as we come up to it. So we're looking at 400, roughly 400, 398 hours of doing this right now. Are we experts yet?
I hope so. You know, only
I
the
don't
people
think so.
can decide.
They say it takes 10,000 hours
Ah, okay.
before you're an expert.
So we're not an expert
Before
yet,
you-
but
Before you have mastered something. 10,000 hours. We are fucked.
yeah, we keep losing people, so I guess it's not doing that great.
Constantly.
But next week is 200. We'll see who we can get. You know, I didn't plan the extravaganza like last time.
Like
but,
last time? Uh-oh.
you know, I've been having another whole festival to plan. And speaking of, I got some cool stuff in the mail if you want to check it out.
What'd you get in the mail today?
So first, I got to stand up for this one because we got...
Yeah.
I got a banner. So hopefully I don't have it upside down.
No.
the
Yeah.
headphones in my way.
Wow. Now
yeah,
it's upside down. Now it's not. There you go.
All right. Can you see
Very
it?
good. The unveiling of the most black metal Steelerfest logo I have ever seen in my life. Jesus
I'm gonna
Christ,
slide
that is
across the
sick.
ground. Yeah. It's big, you know. Everyone take their photos, and we actually were just talking. We're gonna have people sign it too and stuff when they take photos with it.
Oh, what? Dude, I can't even begin to tell you like how excited I am getting for this. Like,
But I got more. I got more.
what? What? I thought it was just a banner and done. I didn't think there was anything else going on. We're just gonna go up and sign a banner, right?
Look at this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty
What?
awesome. And the prints came out good. I mean, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up. But it's fucking sick. Look at that face.
Bro, that is ridiculous.
That's for you, Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne's in the chat right now.
That is insane. Dude, the merch game is ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick, you know. And I got some news today that I can't announce yet, but I'll find out on Monday, and it's gonna be even fucking cooler. Still, we'll have some cool shit. I'm stoked.
All these surprises. It's what people already know is beyond worth the price of admission alone. But like with the surprises, bro, that's fucking nutty.
Yeah, and you know, I shared today all the movies that we're playing, so you can go on Instagram to see what I do and put all the trailers out. So yeah, that's the extravaganza I planned.
I watched through those and absolutely unreal shit, dude. Unreal
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, we get to play your whole fucking Volcel scene.
The one, arguably the most perfect scene in The Secret of Cook Island. The most harrowing, I should say.
I think I've said this story on air before, but when we did actually at our Wicked Lady, where we are hosting Steeler Fest, February 3rd, and you can buy your tickets now, $10 online, $15 at the door, 6:66 p.m. Show up.
Get them now, though. Get them now.
But when we screened Cook Island there, I had a friend come in from Long Island, my friend Kyle, and he worked overnight, so he can only stay till like 10 or 11 or something, and the movie hasn't ended yet, and he was about to leave, and the Volcel scene was about to start, and I was like, dude, like, just wait like 5 more minutes. You know, like 5 more minutes is not going to kill you. Like, just
no.
You feel a lot happier if you left in like 5 minutes. And then he did. He stayed to watch the whole thing, and then as he was leaving, he goes, you know, I'm glad I stayed those extra 5 minutes, and then he left.
That's when it's good. And like from what I have heard, it is arguably the scene that most people have like real.
It's not the real
reaction
middle of the movie, you know.
Yeah, it's like these guys take over the movie, and it just makes you long for more of them.
I mean, do you remember? Since we got Dwayne in the chat here, I mean, do you remember what it's like having Dwayne as your co-star?
All I'm gonna say is Dwayne is arguably the most professional out of all of us. While a bunch of us were dicking around, going outside for like cigarette breaks and whatnot, Dwayne was in a corner running lines, and then he'd pull you aside to run lines with him. Dwayne's great. Yeah, no. Arguably the most professional out of all of us.
And that's saying something because you know you guys were a trio with Zach.
I mean, listen, like that whole day was tremendous.
It was tremendous.
Like it's just me and Dwayne, and now anytime it's weird, like little things will pop up, and sometimes me and Dwayne will share messages, and usually they're like it's just us yelling unclean at each other. And it makes me very happy. It makes me very, very happy. Every time I see it in a comment or on a post or in my inbox, I just see like unclean from Dwayne, and I'm like, yes. Yes, we are.
Dwayne says, thank you, Ben. You are the best.
He is. Come on. That's why there's an entire festival.
Yeah,
dedicated
I mean,
to it.
I remember that day very much. So it's like why I want to do this festival is because, I mean, every movie's hard to make, and at a certain point, you know, like there was like a long gap between Cook Island. So at a certain point, it was like, fucking, just we need to end this, you know. But we got to that day. And it added another like 30 days on to me for the rest of the movie. I was like, all right, Let's fucking go. Like, I don't know. That day brought me back.
You're like,
Hardcore.
we could keep making Cuck Island for the next 10
Yeah.
years, and it would be fine. No, and like, I just feel the same way about that day. Those days in general. I mean, it was Zach's birthday.
It was Zach's birthday. Yeah.
And he came out to shoot in his underwear with fake balls hanging out the entire time. And then it's just me, him, and Dwayne in silly little capes, tinfoil hats, our nuts hanging out, and like it was
Just
kind of
rubbing whatever Vaseline on each other.
Newspapers just haphazardly slapped against a wall, like that makes sense. You know, like it was a good day, man. It was a really good day. And you know, when you have those moments of like questioning where you are in life and what you're doing.
Yeah. Those are the things that make you remind you why you're doing it.
It's a good that is a memory to look back on and be like, you know what, this is what makes life worth living.
And that's
right
exactly what I want from Steeler Fest. You know, I
Yeah.
want people to look back at it that way. And especially with the lineup of movies we have is kind of like this journey through everything that we've done, you know, from Bloodstab to Cuck Island to now Portrait Payback, all into this festival.
It's wild. It's wild. And everything in between. Because because, you know, you look at it and it really is sort of this whole entire retrospect. But speaking of Dwayne, we talk about Dwayne a lot here. He's basically like our third co-host right now. But I saw that he was up in Tromaville today. I saw he'd cut a promo with Uncle Lloyd Kaufman on Uncle Lloydie's account today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, for Troma Now. Today was a big day in our shared history, James.
All right, Shitstorm. Finally, someone unprivated it from Vimeo and released it to the world.
Yes.
No, I'm happy it's out. People can finally watch it. You know, I wish, you know, there was like a Blu-ray. That'd be cool.
You know, a thing that I could own and just toss in my my television at any given time.
I can show people that I was once an associate producer for some reason.
They love throwing title, man. Like that's a good thing. Them titles, whoo, buddy boy, let me tell you, it's a whole ass thing, dude. I'm happy to see that it hit Troma now, finally. But again, it's one of those deals in like 6.5 years, man. Like that movie, it's so funny. It seems to me it's like one of those things that most people thought was like a white whale, like his Moby Dick or whatever. Like, does it exist? It might exist. A few people have seen it and confirmed it, but nobody can really tell you for
it's
sure.
definitely real now. It's out there. I mean, that movie is a nexus point in my life. I mean, you know, as much as I like to make fun of Troma Now, but it's because I've been a part of it for so long, because I just decided to do this movie once. And look, now we have a podcast. I got literally a whole part. I got a festival for Dwayne that I've met because of that movie.
So, and again, there goes, like, that's the other part of why you continue to do shit like this, or at least I do, right? Like, it introduces you to the people that you can bring into the fold, the people that you want to be around, like-minded people that are where you're at least like creatively, if nothing else. Yeah. You know? They're all in the same boat as you. They all have the same ambition, the same idea, strive. You know, some people might be further along and can pull you up. Some people might be, you know, further back and need your hand or whatever.
And, you know, I've worked on, then that was like my first real film job, really. But now I've worked on so many things, but I've never worked on any, I mean, I've worked on some stuff where I've met people and like still have friends today because of it, but nothing still to this day as compared to just how my life literally changed from just because I did that movie.
Life altering, James.
Yeah.
Like, Like, think about it.
Like
If
I
anything
can
had
literally
gone-
take that as like a nexus point. It's like literally my Matrix, like the red pill moment.
when you look through, it's either like your shit or get off the toilet moment. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like either we shit here or we shit our pants a little further down the way. I think that's like, at least with our weird little group, that's most of us. We
Yeah.
all see that as a point where we decided to change.
Yeah.
What was going on in
I mean,
life.
yeah, dude, you can like literally see a line of just like shitstorm to Wet Works to Where Deer Trailer to Cook Island to Where Deer to whatever, like until this podcast. I mean, it's literally like a fucking tree.
But did you think when we met, even like down the road, that I would fucking come out to some weird, that you would
No.
come out to some weird little Tennessee thing?
I
to
mean,
work on
I've told this story, I think,
that
probably
faith
100
based
times.
thing, and I came out to meet you at the Cracker Barrel or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Then it was like, oh shit, I got to see my friend Ben that I know from Trauma.
Yeah, that's it.
Like
That's it.
I'll never forget this, and I know I've told this a bunch of times, but when Derek was drunk on Wet Works, and he looked at me and said, "You guys are the best friends I have," and I was like, yeah, sure, like I got a whole other life. What are you talking about? And then looking currently today, I'm still talking to all you fucks, and like we're still on this podcast, 200 episodes deep.
And we're still doing other things. We've got other plans,
Yeah.
stuff to make, James. Stuff to make, things to do. Like, come on.
So yeah, it's been a journey. Go watch Shitstorm. It was the journey.
See where it all began. Watch James be a crackhead and then watch him get ripped in half.
Yeah, and and remember, you can subscribe to get that free month, so you don't even have to pay for it. Just do the free month, cancel it.
Yeah, and then sign up with a new email, get another free month if you haven't watched everything you wanted to watch. Like, that kind of shit is good.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and plug Truman now. But yeah, I'm happy.
But
it's
how
out.
was the week, James? What did you get into this last week?
I mean, it's still just Steeler stuff. Is my life right now. So I actually finished the montage today, which I'm not going to share until the screening, but it's great. I got some Toonular clips in there.
What? What?
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. It's pretty great. And
Did you include some of that the Transformers lecture?
I did.
Good.
So
Very good.
Yeah, we got that in there. But we actually filmed actually Bring on the Damned, so that, guess speaking of trauma, because we keep talking about fucking trauma, saw that at the MoMI. That was fun.
James, I want to tell you something right now, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to piss you off. I'm not saying this to like bring you down. All I'm doing is pointing out the obvious. You're like, since we can't quit speaking of trauma, it is ingrained in us.
I know,
James.
it's fucking a
Like,
disease.
It is, isn't it? Like, it really, really is. But no, we're never gonna not speak of trauma. I'll know you when we're like 80 and change, and fucking I'll be 85 and you'll be like 72, like something like that.
When
Whatever.
I'm Lloyd's age when he made Shitstorm.
There you go, right? Exact. And then I am much older. But we'll still be talking about it. Why? Because it is that turning. So just accept it. Speak of it with joy. It's fine.
I don't know, like if I can 100% speak of it with joy, but it was a fun night, and a lot of people showed up, especially that we know, and it was fun. And I got to check out the MoMI Museum for the first time, which is sick. They got tons of old film shit. They had a whole Jim Henson exhibit, so just Muppet stuff everywhere, which was awesome.
Oh, so I haven't been, but that will change in the next few months.
Oh, but I'm glad I saw it then, because it's sick. They have a full Big Bird costume. You can see like what makes it work. They have like real puppets from like.
Oh no, I meant me personally, bro. I haven't seen it yet, but that will change in a few months.
Oh, you're gonna go to the MoMI to see the Jim Henson exhibit.
No, I might be going to the MoMI to watch a movie.
Ah, that's right.
But I can't really say anything too much
right.
yet. I don't have a date, but you
Well,
smell
if
what
you're
I'm stepping
there,
in?
the museum is worth checking out. They got a whole film on skateboarding exhibit where it's like all these, old VHS tapes of like the Birdhouse stuff, and it was sick. And then yeah, they even have a giant Freddy. They have I think it's Nightmare 3, where it's, the human meatballs. They
Yes.
have like the full scale chest that all the people were in climbing out of, plus like a mold of like the insert of the chest and stuff. So that he would like Robert Englund would have wore.
What?
So it's really sick. They have the Blade Runner, like one of the Blade Runner miniatures for one of the big shots in that movie. What else? Oh, they had a bunch of old Star Wars toys, like ones from the 70s.
See, man, like that's the stuff that I want to check out. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of shit that I'm into. But yeah, no, I look forward. I look forward to that. I also got word, and it hasn't really been mentioned on any socials yet. But so goes the way of Traumaville. We got another Weird Deer screening this week. Or not this week, but coming up. We're screening at Days of the Dead in Atlanta.
Atlanta, nice.
In ATL. So it's like Days of the Dead is another one of these big horror cons, right?
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, fuck, it's Atlanta. Yes, I'm going. Of course. It's February, bro. It'll be later in the month. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. So that was big fun.
Yeah,
That was big fun on my end.
I mean, I've never been to Atlanta, so hope it's sick.
I've been through Atlanta a few times. It is interesting. It's interesting. When I went, I was much younger, and Atlanta was not as far along as it is now. Hollywood had not set up shop yet or anything like that. So Atlanta was a different sort of species when I went through there.
Yeah, then after the Trauma screening, Dwayne came over. We filmed another Steeler Fest promo, which I cannot wait for you guys to watch because it is awesome.
Well, when are you dropping all these promos, man?
Well, this promo, we shot it, we shot an analog, so we have to wait for the, film to develop.
You shot an analog. You shot a mini DV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I see what you have to do.
So you have to convert it. So hopefully they'll be next week. But
Amazing.
So it was a party.
Cannot wait.
A bunch of people, Sabrina was here. Dwayne was here. Connor moved in, so it was the whole gang was here filming this promo. It was a fun time. It got a little rowdy, but it was a good time.
I heard more than a little rowdy. I'll let you tell your stories the way you choose to.
A little rowdy. That's how it went down. But yeah, that's my week. It's been fun. It's still a little slow on the work side, but it's been chill. And the slowness helps because I get to actually plan Steeler Fest. So
you can just focus on this, right? Like that's instead of having to rush it and whatever and hope that shit
just happens. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ben Johnson, it's your birthday.
What? Well, it was my birthday yesterday.
Yesterday was your birthday, but it still counts.
It's still my birthday.
Yeah.
It'll be my birthday until your birthday. We'll put it that way. We'll keep it as mine until then.
So yeah, what have you been doing for your birthday?
Well, so Jen was asking me. She kept asking me like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" Here's the thing I will tell you. At least for me personally, the way I experience the world, the older I get, the less I want to do. The less I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that's a lot of people.
My in-laws were like, "What do you want for Christmas and for your birthday?" And I'm like, I hadn't even thought about it. Normally, I would have a list like 1,000 miles long, like, oh, this, that, the other thing. But I'm going through like my closet and shit, and like I'm looking and I was like, most of it would be like T-shirts, and then I'm like, I already have enough T-shirts to choke. Like God, like
hopefully you'll buy more on February 3rd.
Well, so I intend on getting a couple. Actually, what I might do is put my order in before I get there and just pay you before the festival. So that way you've got that sold and done, and then I am sure to get them. I'm terrified they're gonna sell out. Um, but okay, so rewinding a little, like during the week leading up to my birthday, and then like all throughout, like couldn't think of anything I wanted. Couldn't think. I don't know. I mean, the stuff that I need is more expensive than I'm going to ask people for my birthday. You know what I mean? Like that's like burdensome shit.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
like my mom asked you what I want. Well, I'm like, well, I need this new, electronic slate for my sound mixer, but no one's gonna want to buy that.
Right, exactly. And then they're like, well, here's a thing that I have no idea what it is
Yeah.
or why it costs, how much it costs. What the fuck is this? Why do you need this? Don't you have the clappy one? The clappy one doesn't work for you. Anyway, all of that to say, like, couldn't think of nothing, was fine. Then I start going through my closet, and it's like, so because I've lost like a bunch of weight, I've gone through 2 t-shirt sizes. So now I look in my closet and it's all like my 2XL t-shirts that I'm not going to wear anymore. I do and I don't. Like the ones I really, really like, I'll still throw on, but they're all super fucking baggy. XL stuff is getting baggy. Larges are still a little like I'm still getting used to them. But fucking like now I went through, James, I had like 125 t-shirts in my closet. Like just
So what'd you do with all of them?
Well, I cleaned out 50 and thought I'd made like a good dent, and I was feeling real good about myself. And then I looked at the stack of shit that I was keeping, and that I was like, oh, I'll wear through that. I'm not. So I'm bagging up a bunch of it, and then like I'm gonna put it in storage over at the tub, and then figure it out down the road. And maybe in 5 years, if I want to,
Do you like find shirts you haven't worn in a long time? You're like, oh, that's where that shirt went.
Yes, I constantly.
Yeah, I found a shirt recently. I was like, oh, I really like this shirt. I forgot I even had this shirt.
Dude, I'm finding ones like. So I go through this process every few years because I'm a whore for a good t-shirt. I'm a whore for a good concert shirt, whatever, right? So every few years I'll go through this, and I just I bag them up, I box them up, I throw them places, I put them, I hide the good ones. I might pull one out like that I'd had, on the bench for a while. I might pull that back out. I found one in particular going through this last batch that I was like, holy shit, I'll give up 2 shirts to put this one back in my closet. Another thing that I do, or that I am doing, so I too have been prepping for Steeler Fest.
Oh.
And one of the ways that I'm doing that, I got me a sick new jean jacket, which you guys have seen.
Nice.
Canadian
tuxedo?
Huh?
You got yourself a Canadian tuxedo?
Canadian tuxedo, buddy. You already know. But I've been going through my whole pen collection, and I've been adorning it with all these pens I've collected over the years. But the back, like every good jean jacket, has a back patch, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going through and I'm looking, and I'm like, I've got all these awesome T-shirts, all these old awesome full graphics. I could cut one of those out. We could whatever. But I was talking to Jen, and she's like, well, we could do something interesting. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? What are you talking about? So what we have planned and what she's trying to get done before I go is we're taking like 5 or 6 of my old shirts, ones that I just don't wear anymore and probably will not wear, right? Ones that have no resale value, maybe they're all holy and fucked up.
I mean, you never know, dude. I found that cut off holy shirt they were selling for, and not by holy shirt, I mean like literally shirt with holes in it. But he was selling it for $90.
It's crazy.
So
you
never
could.
Know what you don't know, bro. That could be $200 shirt right there.
Yeah, well, you know what we're doing with them?
So what are you doing with them?
So we're gonna take a few of them and we're gonna cut them up, and then sort of split the graphics. So the back patch won't just be like an old Rob Zombie face. It won't just be like an old whatever face. It'll be like a Frankenstein
Hell yeah.
of like 5 or 6 different old concert shirts put
That's
together.
fucking sick.
Yeah. So, because I couldn't settle on one. I couldn't settle on one.
No, I like the fucking, mosaic of concert shirts.
You know what I mean? And I think it'll be like a fun little like Frankenstein thing to do. You get some fun thread or whatever, and then you add the big X stitches where the seams are. It'll look sick.
And you can make the seams kind of like, not like perfect squares, so then it has like that Frankenstein kind of
exactly
line.
that sort of like scar kind of tissue kind of vibe. Yeah. That's what I'm going for. We'll see if we get there before the fest. I think we will.
I hope so. It sounds sick.
Because that's all I ask for my birthday from Jen. That's all
you
I
gotta
want.
be as, well, what is more metal than having, a patch of band shirts on the back of your jacket? So
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, we're going hard. So that's all I asked for my birthday. It was like, will you make my jean jacket heavy metal, Jen? Please. But she was like, well, we should get out. We should do something. I'm taking Wednesday and Thursday off for your birthday. Today we did nothing, which was great. We hung out around the house. We went out and we did go out for a walk with the dogs this morning. But yesterday we left the dogs here, got up in the morning and took like an hour and a half drive up into Kentucky. And we went to Mammoth Caves.
To the caves.
Are you familiar with Mammoth Cave at all?
No, but caves scare me.
Caves are fucking rad, bro. Okay, so
Have you seen all the videos of people getting stuck in caves?
yeah, we don't do that part. We go on the big tour, like the one that's open to the public. We're not gonna do the like sleep in the cave overnight, crawl to your little hole and sleep in
Crawl
that.
to your death.
Dude, let me tell you something. Okay, so we go into the cave. Awesome, huge. So it lives up to its name, but there are 2 reasons why Mammoth Cave is mammoth. All right, why it's so big. One is like the domes and the rooms in it, right? So when they actually opened it up and they were able to get like light around or whatever, they are huge openings. The thing has been there for millions and millions of years. So like you walk into some of these rooms and you are like dwarfed by the rock that is around you. It's fucking nuts, dude. Nuts. The other reason is because it is the longest running cave system in the world. So they've tracked it, and from its longest point, like the longest route through the cave, not including all its like little offshoots.
Where's the route? Is it like another exit? Is it like through the cave?
Yes. The 2 openings that they measure though for the longest route through it, 412 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. 412 miles. And then that doesn't include like all the little offshoots. So when you look at a map of Mammoth Cave, it looks like a lightning strike, like a fractal. You know what I mean?
You got a little city in there.
It's huge, dude. It is fucking massive. And as you're going to it, you can actually see the cave from the road. And you're probably like, how? I thought most caves are like underground or like in mountains. Well, what you see on the road and out like in the fields around it are sinkholes where the ground is given way to like the sandstone and the limestone beneath it, and it's caved in, and all of that shit has like filtered through and left the hole. It caves down, creates a sinkhole, and settles, and stays there.
So it just stays there?
Yeah, so some of them open up into actual like full-blown holes into the cave. Some of them just settle down like whoop and then look like divots.
Yeah,
in the
you're
earth.
saying millions, so this is all natural.
All natural. Yeah, all natural. The only man-made stuff in there is what man like brought in, and they did they had to blast out some of it in order to create the paths, because here's the other thing. We're changing the format of the show.
We're talking
tonight
about caves now.
It's cave talk, baby, all day.
Caves are terrifying.
So what they ended up doing, though, well, Mammoth Cave, because of the amount of limestone in it, because has a lot of saltpeter. So the saltpeter they were able to
I got a little
use in the
saltpeter.
late Peter. I got a salty Peter, baby. Let me tell you. But they were able to use the saltpeter to make black gunpowder. So in the 1800s, late 1700s, early 1800s, they were mining inside parts of the cave to fucking like create black gunpowder. And like during the War of 1812 and then on through, like every time there was wartime, like Mammoth Cave spiked. And if you want to get into conspiracy theory stuff, and
Dude, what do you mean by spiked? Like in popularity?
The need for gunpowder spikes.
Oh, okay,
It goes up
I got
during wartime.
Yeah.
So if they need more gunpowder, they need more saltpeter to make gunpowder. So mining in the cave is going to spike during those times.
I got it.
But to bring it into conspiracy theory world, guess
Is it
who
Jew lasers?
Very close. Guess who owned Mammoth Cave for the longest amount of time until they couldn't mine anymore and there was no value in it?
The Jews?
DuPont. The DuPont family.
I don't know who that is.
Do some research, buddy. The DuPonts made everything from rope to vegetables. They got their hand in all kinds of fucking industry. They've also low-key, they're like weapons manufacturers. Like DuPont is chemicals. They do all sorts of crazy shit. Like during wartime, they get real rowdy. But they're also like one of those families like the Rockefellers that are bought into everything. Like the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, they're in that
So
niche.
what's the conspiracy exactly?
No, just with the families with big money that own the cave. That's it. I don't know. Weapons.
That's where they're creating the Jew lasers.
I wouldn't be surprised if DuPont wasn't responsible for those. I'm just saying. I mean, like, look. I can't prove that they're not. I also can't prove that they are. But then we went out and so we caved around for a few. We took like a nice big long like 2-hour tour through there. There are a couple of points on the tour if you do one. If you do one at Mammoth Cave, take the historic tour because that's where you see what the guy. Look, okay, our guide. I loved our guides. They were a cartoon. Okay, I shit you not. They hit like a living version of one of my favorite cartoon dynamics. Okay, they had the leader, the guy giving the tour, was a short, kind of round dude. You know, kind of fat, a little bit short. Big old beard that comes down to here, and he talked a lot, and he would talk kind of slow, and then he'd tell you about history, and that's the way it was. And then his fucking buddy was tall, skinny, and very quiet. This
those two of them that would follow you around?
Their names were Dave and Jim. Dave was the leader of the group. Jim stayed in the back to like shut the lights off as you would go through various parts of the cave. Like set up throughout, they had these stations, and there's an off switch and an on switch, and you would get to it, you would hit the on switch for the next section that you're at, hit the off switch for the section you just left. Okay. Anyway, Jim would hang back in the back. We get into this one room. Shit. We get into this.
Getting excited over here.
I pulled my mic cord. We get into this one room. Everybody's passing Jen, and he's off in the back, not even paying attention, talking with Jen a little bit. And we start hearing this, oh. And, dude, it felt like the room was shaking. Like, it was this.
By the way, the sound bounced through the cave.
Oh. So what it is, it was Jim. It was Jim in the back. And it's a... like I think he called it like a harmonic resonance or whatever, and basically you can hit a frequency and a tone that causes the rocks to quote unquote sing, so they'll match that tone as well.
See, people say sound's not cool.
Sound is fucking rad, right? And it's like the rocks are humming with the hum when you hit the note, when you hit the right tone, right frequency. It's like the rocks hum too. Freaked me the fuck out because he wasn't telling anybody what he was doing, and we just hear these ohms. I got spooked.
Isn't that like, would that not collapse anything?
Mm-mm. No. It's not that level of like power in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just a fun little like science trick. That's it. Yeah, nothing dangerous there. But Jim got me at another point in time. He walked ahead of the group into a spot that was still kind of dark. They know their way through there. They lead these tours all the time. He was up around the corner, taking care of some bullshit in the cave they had to take care of. We come around, dude, and I swear to God, he steps out of a rock and he looked like the ghost of a ranger. Like the light was so faint. I wasn't expecting to see him there. I didn't know where I didn't know where this man had gone off to. I wasn't clocking Jim until this moment. And like now I'm paying attention to Jim because he's full of shenanigans. So he pops out around this corner. I jump out of my fucking skin. Like, it was a great tour. A really, really great tour. I don't know. I can't. So caves are formed by water, right?
Okay.
Caves are formed by water. Water that drips down through the ground, makes its way through rock, carves its way into the limestone, and then over millions of years hollows out, forms underground rivers, all of this stuff. Mammoth Cave, no different. We get to a point and we stop and we listen. We're not hearing shit. There's nothing to hear. Dave, Roundwing, goes, "Do you guys hear that?" Everybody gets dead ass quiet. He goes, "I can hear the water running right now. It's just down that way a little ways. Now, we can't go to it on this tour. That's blocked off for a different tour. But I want you to do something. Everybody get dead ass quiet." Everybody gets dead ass quiet. He goes, "Can you hear it?" Everybody's like, "No." He goes, "Take both your hands. Cup them to both of your ears. Pull your ears forward. Make full cup around them. Aim it kind of forward." So we do. James, water, straight up, just pouring fucking river. You can hear it dead ass.
You couldn't hear it just by standing there?
Not just standing there, no. But the second you cup, the way it kind of bounced around the room and in and around, a dude just straight up like flowing ass river water. Craziest thing. So we're talking with him a little bit, and he's like, "Well, you know, bats and the way their ears are kind of cupped and the way they scoop and the way the sound pulls in, we don't have that. Ours are just flat against our head. So anything we do to kind of build our ears out and collect the sound from those directions, it'll funnel in off your hand and hit differently." He's like, "You want to have some fun?" He goes, "You go outside in the middle of the woods at night. You think you're hearing everything." He goes, "You just cup them both, sit there for about 2-3 minutes. Your mind will be blown."
Did you try it?
It's this pudgy little bearded guy. "Your mind will be blown." I was like, fuck yes, dude. So me and Jen, we go on another little hike after because there's a bunch of trails around Mammoth Cave. We go on another little hike afterwards, and we get out there, and it's like, okay, well, the river's supposed to be that way. Stop. Do you hear a river? Nope. Cupped our ears. River all day, baby. Just right up the way. I don't know. I was blown away by like 7th grade science yesterday.
This is how sound travels.
It's like I felt like in that moment that I had unlocked some type of secret level.
I don't have a shot at the horn. Yeah, we got there. Hell yeah, secret level. The show just came out this year. I mean, you know, same creators, Love, Death, and Robots. If you couldn't tell, but
yep.
What are your first thoughts?
So okay. Couple of quick things for me anyway. All right, for me anyway. I did as I always do, the briefest bit of research. God bless Wikipedia. Over half of these games I was unfamiliar with.
Same, actually. I don't play a lot of video games.
Though
I got a fun story about one of the games. It's been one of the later episodes, but I don't go
like that deep into gaming. Like,
But first
I
episode,
find-
Dungeons and Dragons. So I mean,
okay, and based on a D&D video game, not just the board game. The ones that I was familiar with was like D&D, Warhammer, Pac-Man, and there was
the Mega Man one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My biggest critique in this, my biggest critique overall, is that because they're based on video games and because they're so short and the story's so contained, everything in it just feels like a cutscene removed from a video game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I felt too. I felt a little lost when I didn't know the games, except for the second episode. I got the name right here. Sifu, It Takes a Life. Oh, that's actually my favorite episode too, where the dude, he can't die, but every time he dies, he comes back to life. He's older, and that shit was fucking epic. Those fight scenes were so fucking sick. And then he would get stabbed and just get back up, and then just get stabbed again, and just start fucking dudes up.
So is it the third one is also similar? Is that the one with Schwarzenegger? Was the second one?
No, that's the third one.
No,
which is
that's
also
the-
actually that's New World, which I thought was pretty funny too. Which I have no idea what game that is either.
I really enjoyed New World because I thought it was hysterical that there's this king that everybody lets win, and then when he comes up against a real and actual trial, he just sucks ass at everything.
Everything.
Like he's terrible.
And that one's good because it had like a wholesome ending out of nowhere. You know, it's just like him learning to not be a dick.
Right. So there's that, and then I loved the notion too that every time he would come back like a little bit more powered up, like a little bit more evil. He always uncovered the next little secret, right?
And,
then
he
got
went to that
keep
cave, and then he gets the whole suit and tries to use the magic powers, and then immediately just still loses. And the king is just like, "Here, take the crown. I'm tired anyway." And then opens up another chest full of like 100 crowns.
It's, dude. So there are a lot of like a lot of humorous moments through there, and there's another later episode, and I forget the name of it, but I think it's either like the 13th or 14th. But it's the little girl that is like an adventurer,
Right, spelunking,
and she keeps dying.
Yeah.
She keeps dying. And then so does the lady that's with her, and they're doing the tallies on the wall. So okay, so we'll go back a little bit. We're jumping ahead. I'm jumping ahead. I think an overall theme that I was able to kind of pick up on in this is this notion of like life and death, trial and error. It's like everything seemed to be.
Yeah, I see that.
Huh?
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that seems to be the element that carries throughout.
Yeah.
But starting with that D&D episode, bro, that dragon battle at the
sick.
end of that.
I just felt like lost in the sense of like I just didn't know the characters, and maybe I just don't know D&D that well. But I just got lost in the sauce a little bit
Of who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
So they like that one to me was kind of simple because you jump into existing characters in the story. What is it? They're looking for a cleric. They have this magic user that's being held hostage. And then all of a sudden, during the battle, once they find the dragon and they've got this guy out there, he creates a shield in the battle that shields all of the party. And she's like, "Oh, we found our cleric." I mean,
it feels like a campaign.
Oversimplified, but yeah, it is like at least in my mind's eye, it was like, oh, and I had to jump through some mental hoops to get here, but what it felt like to me was like that cleric was like, let's say the previous week you had a character that died in the campaign, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to introduce a new character. This was like introducing that new character, like jumping them in, and testing them out and taking them out on the party, hazing them for a little bit, and then having them test their mettle against the big ass dragon.
Yeah, then they
That-
get it. Then they're back at the team.
Now they're in the group.
Yeah.
Now they're officially in the group. That's the way I looked at that episode because I don't know the game that it's from.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully too, I think all the animation in this is top tier. Because I mean, that dragon shit looks incredible, and even like it does a thing. Because even Dungeons and Dragons, where it could be weird, like Uncanny Valley could be so easy, and it's like they have like real faces, but then they don't, and none of it pulls me out of it in a weird way that my brain doesn't feel like it's being portrayed. You know?
Right. So the only thing with this in a couple of instances, and it is a later one, the Keanu Reeves one,
Yeah.
where the pilot or whatever, where he's the pilot. There are a few moments in there where the CG on the mouths and stuff, like when they're talking, something's not like
Yeah, sometimes
matching
it's a
up
little
right.
off. Yeah. I actually wanted to like that one more, and I watched it twice, and I got confused still.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with this is like I think they trust their audience to know these characters
More, yeah, or at least
Yeah.
the world more. Yeah, that's how I feel. Because I mean, some of it. There's one. See if I can actually remember what it's like. An army one. I think it's the Crossfire. Yeah, Crossfire. That is like some of the most stellar, realistic animations I've ever seen in my life in a thing like this. Like the way they were just like, and like, I was talking with Will about it on the couch. There's like, it's like little things, not so much even like what's going on, but if you just look like little things like the windows and like the way that like the water droplets are like the light is reflecting through the water and just weird little reflections, like those like little details that like nobody would like. The amount of work to just do those things is fucking like blows my mind.
So that's the thing that where I think video game companies and video game development and productions, like I think because a lot of times they take like a decade to get a property up and moving to really get it done and get it done right. It allows them the opportunity to focus on stuff like that. And I don't know how long this took. I'm assuming not a decade.
No.
These vignettes, but they also don't have to put in gameplay functionality. They don't have to pass it through 1,000.
I mean, it's also
people.
each story is made by a different person, so there's like different people working on different things at once with different styles. But I mean, I don't want to say this stuff's easy too. I mean, because I was looking at the behind the scenes of Love, Death, and Robots, which this pretty much will follow the same pipeline, where they make the movie like 4 different times. Like they have a full just animatic drawn version of it. Then they have to have like a really shitty like rudimentary version. Then they have to mocap it. And then there's like the final composited rendered pass of everything that you're doing. So you have to literally go through that process like 5 different times, 4 different times on everything.
None of it is easy. None of it's easy. But like so with those small details with that, I think video games get that right. And they have to, because you're going to be in that world for, your average user to get through a story game of any good one is what, 8 to 40 hours?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then you can tell when people like slack off on it, and there's zero slacking in any of this.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think of this as compared to like most movies or other adaptations? You think this is a better way to approach doing a video game adaptation?
So, like, yes and no. I mean, and this is where I think I'm like a little desensitized and a little jaded. No matter what, it's always going to feel like a cutscene to me. Like, that's the problem. If it's based on a video game property and it's not live action, or it's not, I don't know how to put it. Like, it's always going to feel like there should be a point where I pick up my controller and now I run my little man around.
Because that's where this kind of lives. And actually, it comes down to the creator, Tim Miller.
Yeah.
He started off in video games. he did video game cutscenes. I mean, that's how he learned story. They did video game cutscenes. He did the famous DC Universe cutscene, which is fucking awesome. If you haven't watched it, it's the greatest like Justice League short film ever for like an online video game that no one even really played.
I played that.
Yeah. Do you
so
know the
that-
cutscene I'm talking about?
I want to say I do, but that's the one where you had your DC character and you would like run around this giant open world. It was almost like World of Warcraft, but with like DC characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
I played that for a little bit.
So he went from that and then did Deadpool. He made the first Deadpool, and he got it made too. He did all the effects on that movie. That's how he got the movie made, because he took it on himself at his own production company before, because Fox didn't want to. They said the movie wasn't going to do nothing. It's not funny, you know. And then he did Terminator, the last Terminator movie, which bombed, and then he came back and. It feels like a full circle, you know, like.
Let's go back to what I know, what I remember, what I enjoy, what treats me well. Yeah. Entirely.
But what I like about this is that I do feel like he kind of took some of his moviness and brought it to these cutscenes that, like, I don't know, maybe because I like video game cutscenes, but yeah, it's like, I don't know, I feel like this is the way that people want to see their video game adaptations. You know, this is like for the nerds. In that, right?
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I didn't look it up, but there's one that I kind of, and this was one that I watched at least 2 times. I think I watched it 3 because I really just didn't understand why, but really, really dug it. That Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, so to bring that up, the Pac-Man one's awesome.
Are you familiar with that game at all? Is it Shadows of the Valley?
Yeah, I've never played it. I just assumed it was some weird. Someone decided to do a horror version of Pac-Man, which was kind of genius.
Okay, it's Pac-Man Shadow Labyrinth is what it's called. So I'm looking at this now, and it is full-blown horror Pac-Man.
Damn.
This looks...
How new is it? I'm sure it's like this year, right?
Let's see. Shadow Labyrinth Reveal. The Reveal trailer from Shadow Labyrinth came out 1 month ago. So yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty fresh.
Pac-Man Shadow Labyrinth.
I think that's just such a like cool way to like approach an old video game, you know, like to really make it this just like, what if you're a person in the Pac-Man world and you just have to keep eating and then other things are going to eat you, but to survive, you have to keep eating through the maze, you know?
Eat or be eaten.
Yeah.
Eat or be eaten. Yeah, here's what it says. Shadow Labyrinth is a upcoming action-adventure video game developed by Bandai and published by Bandai, part of Pac-Man, and a continuation of the secret level episode Circle.
Oh, so this was starting that.
It's set to be released in 2025 in 2025 for PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC via Steam.
So yes, I guess they were setting it up in this show. But I remember seeing stuff online talking about this like particular. I didn't know anything about this show, but I remember like seeing articles about like, have you seen this fucked up Pac-Man?
And the fact that they're using that to segue into a video game release, that's pretty fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like, because that's
it makes you want to play it.
Well, yeah, and especially if it's a property you don't know. So the fact that they're using this to launch a thing is pretty great. And the take on, I guess, the Pac-Man here, like he carries the Pac-Man with him. The Pac-Man goes with him and then ends up eating him at the end of it, eating through him. It is just surreal.
Yeah, and the Pac-Man's trying to use him to get through to the next stage.
Yeah. And then when he is no longer useful, what? boom, he farts out another weird little man to take him through the labyrinth.
But that's why I think it's so good, is that because as fucking weird and like it's taken the game to a totally different level, it still hits the points that make Pac-Man the game that it is, you know?
Right.
You're respawning, you're collecting what you need to collect, you got to run away from the ghost, or you can kill the ghost if the opportunity happens that way, you know?
It hits... my favorite moment in it has nothing to do with the killing and the grossness and the gore of him like eating the fucking monsters in the thing or whatever. Nothing to do with that. It's right near the beginning when the cherries are on the tree and he pulls the 2 little cherries off and he eats one and tosses the other one because they don't taste good. Like, because you've played Pac-Man,
yeah,
right?
Of course.
You've played Mrs. Pac-Man, right? And they're more frequent in Mrs. Pac-Man, but like the cherries and the bananas and stuff and like Pac-2 and all that, those start showing up in the middle. It's how you kill the ghost. It's how you hit your... Yeah.
That's how it flips you. All right, yeah, you eat the fruit and then you can go eat the ghost.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I love how they adapt the ghosts too, where it's like they look like these floaty ghost things, and then it steps out of the the shadows and it's a monster like that fish that's underwater that has like the light that you think it's like this light.
The anglerfish.
Yeah.
You think it's the tiny little bug light, but then underneath it, it's this giant fucking horrible monster.
Yeah, I was there's a YouTube channel I watch, like a bunch of VFX guys, and they were talking about the channel's called Quarter Group, but they were talking about once they were comparing fish. They were like watching underwater footage to prove if anyone was faking it or if there was real footage. And he showed this footage of a jellyfish that just kind of like forms and like disperse just like in the water in this weird way. And the guy said something interesting, and it reminds me of this creature where it's like, why are more movies and like sci-fi people not looking at underwater creatures for inspirations to aliens? And and it's true, because they're always kind of these weird humanoid or bug things, but we never look at it like sea creatures could be.
They want, and like, to me, that's a human nature sort of thing, right? Like, because you want it to be bipedal, you want it to fucking, you want it to somehow mirror you in a way to understand it. The problem with all like ocean shit, and why it's because ocean shit hits, at least for me, hits a whole other fucking like fear button.
Yeah.
Okay. like it does. I don't know about you, but it like water shit terrifies me.
Yeah, the ocean's horrifying. Yeah.
And it is because like you don't know what they can do because it is so fluid. And it's like you look at octopuses, right?
Yeah.
You look at octopuses, and octopuses are like, forget just the 8 arms, the sucker things or whatever. They can physically transform their bodies to match a terrain.
Yeah. I've seen that shit. I've seen one where like the thing is on a coral, and this like diver's like driving is like swimming over it. Is like swimming over it, and then like he like does something to like kind of spook it a bit, and then you see this cloud open up, and then he just like the entire coral was just him, that he just like forms and fucking swims away.
That is one of the wildest videos ever, because I know exactly what you're talking about. You think it's just this colorful like rock formation, and then it's like a touch, and then you see the whole thing just whoosh, and there's a big bulbous fucking head, and all its 8 arms come out, and it just scatters. The fact that it can do that in an instant, the color change that's in it, there are people out there that would suggest, and don't ask me where I saw it. It was probably on YouTube somewhere, so it's probably not real, but I believe it, so it's fine. But I believe it's the octopus's brain is like more advanced than our brain, significantly so. And there's a theory, a hypothesis, a guess going around that the next thing to like truly evolve on the planet would be the octopus, because of the way that it goes. It's
I mean, they're pretty smart. I watched the video of this dude on YouTube where he has a octopus, and he wants to see if the octopus will open up a jar. Like he puts like whatever, probably a fish, whatever the fuck octopus eat, like inside like a jar, and then inside the tank, like closes it, puts it in the tank, and then he wants to see if the octopus will like open up the jar and go into the. And when like finally it like goes next to it, it like puts his like tentacles around it, like senses what it is, and realizes it smells the fish that's like in it. And then you see it after a couple of minutes, it just starts like figuring it out. Okay, if I go like this, and then just fucking opens up, spins open the whole jar, goes in there and gets his fucking fish. And then starts playing with the lid after a while. It's like, what is this cool thing? And just like figuring it out. You know, it's like after it eats the fish, it's still expecting the whole jar to like understand it and figure it out.
And it still wants to know what I can do with this. What else can I do with this empty vessel now? Like, but that's why water shit terrifies me, James.
But that's why it's got to be used in movies more, man. That's why that shot is so like sick in the Pac-Man thing, because you're just looking at this little ghost the whole time, and the way it steps out, and then because you see like 100 of them, but then you just see the one step out, and then you're like, oh, that means he's surrounded by now 100 of these beasts.
So like and that's just a good way for a creator to like build tension in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forget. Well, okay. It's probably some old hack comedian. I can't remember. And I think I've heard a lot of comedians do this bit. But the idea of like, you know, what's scarier, like one large thing or a bunch of a little thing, right? So what would be scarier? One of those just big monsters that you've seen the entire time, you know what it is or whatever, or like when we first see that, it's 100 little ghosts or whatever, and you're like, oh well, that's terrifying. It's 100 little ghost things. That's gonna be tough. But when you see one giant one step out, and you have that moment of realization that, oh fuck, each one of those is attached.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's good buildup,
Yeah.
man. That's doing like a horror element to things right.
Yeah, so Pac-Man, fucking, that's one of my favorites. So I'll tell you, I was actually disappointed in the Mega Man episode. So I thought it was cool. And then I was like, "Oh, is this just an origin story for Mega Man?"
So disappointing. Because here's why.
It had a good style too. The animation was cool, but it just went nowhere.
I watched that, and that one is the one that solidified the whole notion of, oh, all this is cutscenes, and all this does is make me want to play a game. Because, okay, I could see a Mega Man video game opening with that.
Yeah.
And then that last shot of him out on the roof and he throws the helmet on, I immediately expected the camera to go from in front of him
to like first person, like Iron Man,
behind him,
like the
to like first person. Now we're in it, or like third person where you're just behind him watching. I fully expected it to go from that big thing to now we're into gameplay. Is what it felt like. I thought it was a great opening, but it went nowhere, and it needed a proper ending.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I felt about it, because it looked cool. I mean, what I liked about the animation is that a lot of this, I mean, they do love Death and Robots, really, are like kind of just trying to show off their like CG dick and be like, look how realistic, we can do this. But what I love about the Mega Man one is that it's like, it has this cartoon feel with also not making it look like a cartoon.
Right.
And like the style of it was really good. But yeah, then I was like, you could have done, if I actually got to see the Mega Man stuff in that style, I'd be way more into it. But then there was literally no Mega Man. It was just an origin story for whatever reason.
One half-ass battle with like his fucking with a freeze ray gun or whatever, and he freezes Bomb Man's bomb hand. Bomb Man blows off his own head. Like, again, all of that is because that's perfect video game setup too. You dig what I'm saying? Like, because what do you expect? Okay, you go out, you fight your first like 3 or 4 levels. You have to check back in with Dr. Light. All of a sudden, Dr. Light has been working on fucking his bomb man, you know what I mean? And now you come back and now he's fixed the bugs and you can get in the bomb man suit. Now you can go off and do the next levels. You can switch in and out of that. You come back, he's got the other man ready to go. Like, that is straight up video game 101 is what it feels like.
That's why I said my favorite episode is the second one. Like, I feel like that's the most, like, full story, like, short film.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this young dude who's eating dumplings with this old lady. I think they're playing mahjong or whatever. And they're kind of like talking shit to each other or whatever. And then the bad guys walk through. And then you get the cool flashback. And then he kicks a bunch of ass and then dies. And you start learning like all this stuff about him. And then in the end, he comes back to the old lady as an old man. And she was like, oh, I just saw your grandson or whatever. And then they just eat more dumplings together. And then it like concludes, you know?
Another one that had like a similar like or at least it felt like a non-ending to me. Oh my god, it's after Pac-Man. I can't remember if it's like 11, 12 or 13. But it's the guy, he goes to play chess or whatever with the robot that is controlling the world that shows up as like the ancient chess leader or whatever. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Let's see. Is it Honor of Kings? No, that's the orphan kid. And then
no, this is the one where the guy, he goes up to what looks like some type of ancient Asian like
yes, okay,
god type creature.
Yeah, I was really lost in that one. I was like, this looks cool. I don't get it at all.
I did and didn't get it. Like I dug the fact that this thing is this all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful fucking monster that already knows what's going to happen before it happens. No matter what choice you make, that choice has already been made. It had one of my favorite visuals throughout the series in it. And it's right near-ish. It's before they start playing the game. It's when he's explaining to him, he's like, tap one domino, the other dominoes fall. Even a simple human mind can see this, right? And he does one little line of dominoes. And he goes, but to me, this is how the universe works. And he reaches out and he flicks and he hits that same line of dominoes, but then you just see the wall of dominoes that spiral up and just keep stacking and stacking, and they're all just crumbling about seeing every possibility ever.
No, that was a good episode to get baked to you. Like I said, I had no idea what was going on, but visually I was just like zoned. I was just just staring at it.
That one straight up, like, that one got me fucking in it, bro.
What I thought was cool too, you know, and a lot of times when we see future tech of things, right? You never see a lot of it in that like Asian style like that. You know, it's usually modernized, you know, Western kind of buildings. And I like to see this like old, like Asian style. I mean, I don't know what it's actually called, but I like to see like the futuristic approach to this like old, you know, kind of style. The way the buildings are shaped, but then there are still computers. Like they're wearing these like traditional clothes, but then they're still like flying, you know, and like, yeah.
Wait, I lost you for a second. What?
I said, you know how you see them wear these like traditional clothes like in it, and then they still have like all this technology also like on it, and they're like flying around and stuff. And the way, I don't know, the style of it really got me because I never really see anything like that. But
the way
I also
they
lost
marry the old with the new. The way they marry the old with the new. Yeah. It like, and that's like, this is where I wish we had sort of Leo here, because it's not. It's
I think
not
he's
so
in like Africa right now. He's somewhere crazy.
Bro, he's been on full blown safari.
Yeah,
it's nuts. Nuts. But the reason being is like, so ancient astronaut theorists say that you know, they talk about like, oh well, the reason why they described it was actually aliens and spaceships, not dragons and shit. And the thing is like, it is like, that's how they explained it, was like, oh, we'll call it a dragon, but it's actually a spaceship. They just didn't know the words for spaceship. They don't know the word for spacesuit. They don't know any of this. So, you know, when you look at like these ancient surroundings with all this tech, to me it does feel like ancient astronaut theory, and I like it. I like the marriage of the
I guess you
very
could
old
take it that way.
with.
Said I wish I understood it more. That I would probably
Yeah.
agree with you.
Well, I wish I knew the game. I wish I knew what they were
Yeah.
referencing. That's the other thing. Like, and you and I do it a lot, and I don't know um, where the good. How do I put it, bro? Um, it's like I don't know what the good in between is, because like, okay, we get tired of the same old like cookie cutter stuff. Oh, like here's origin story. We take 4 episodes to set that up. We've
Yeah.
seen it before. We know it. We want to jump in to things in motion, right? But if we don't have, and this does that. These do that. They jump into things in motion. The problem is because each one is self-contained. It's not a cohesive storyline across all the episodes. They don't build on each other. It becomes a situation where it's like, okay, I have nothing else to watch with these characters to actually get invested in them. And that's a problem. I've just seen them do cool shit. I watched this guy fight a robot dressed up like an ancient Asian priest or whatever. Fucking, who is he? Oh, I'm never gonna find out. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the bummer in it. Because they do a good job of showcasing who these characters are and what they can do. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's why I feel like I get lost in some of these stories.
because you're provided no context before, and you get nothing afterwards to give you any any context.
Yeah, there's one I thought was really good called Exodus: The Odyssey, and I kind of missed the beginning of it, but then at the same time, that short was just Interstellar. It's just
Right?
like it literally was like almost basically the same plot.
Lost in space. We're doing Interstellar. Done.
Yeah. And then look at the same thing with the time where the dad is traveling, but he's like behind, and the other daughter's timeline is like 80 years in the future, which is a fucked up. That's why I like it, because I love that idea of like space travel, and then like you're trying to catch up by like being in a one spot. You're living less time than somebody else who's living like a couple like like above you or whatever. Like,
Moving at the
yeah.
speed of light. Like moving at the speed of light. The distance, the time, the everything. Like a light year is a measure of distance and not time.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's what's fucked up is what. And those are the nuts that, like, when we actually do as the human race, as we start to really crack those nuts and those nuggets, to see those things work out. Could you imagine like only 3 years in your life passing by to come back and everybody else is aged like 20?
Yeah.
Could you imagine
It's fucked
that,
up. I mean,
dude?
have you seen Interstellar?
Yeah.
So we saw it. Actually, they did a re-release in IMAX not too long ago. I got to see it with my brother, and yeah, it's fucking epic. And there's that one scene where they go to the Matt Damon's planet, and they're like, "All right, we have to go down there and come back up. Like, be careful. An hour down there is 7 years on Earth time." And then they fuck up, and they're like, "Okay, how long are we? Like, how long has it been?" And they're like, "Well, it's been like 2 hours now, so." It's like
14
years. 14 years, and they go back, and they finally get back up, and their other crewmate is like just now gray hair, and be like, "Yeah, I was sitting here 14 years."
Could you imagine? Like, oh my god, like that's the kind of science fiction shit I love.
So, I mean, did you like this short then, the Exodus Odyssey?
Yeah, I did. I thought it got a little sappy though, like with the whole like ending with what is it, the lady in the bed or whatever before he goes to see the granddaughter. Like, again, it, god damn it, this is where I feel like a a repeating thing that repeats a lot. A broken record.
Yeah.
There you go. Is it really just felt like by the time he ends and he goes to see the granddaughter, when he sits down in that chair across from her, again, I fully expected just a perspective change. Now we're gonna play the daughter, and then, or we're gonna play this girl, and we're gonna go from there. But I guess that's also the good thing. That to me is like a double-edged sword, right? Yes, it leaves me wanting more. And then it also leaves me in a position to where it's like, oh fuck, I forgot I was watching something and I thought I was playing a game. I thought it so there's this weird level of like up and down disappointment for me.
No, actually, I really dug the episode. I just I kind of missed the beginning of it, and then I kind of got a little lost, and I was like, fuck. But visually, it was sick, and I said I was hooked on to the story of it, even though as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, they're just doing Interstellar.
Yeah.
I just saw this movie. But do you want to hear a fun fact I learned about one of the games the show did?
Tell me a fun fact.
So I'm watching it, and then Will, our newest roommate Will, whatever you want to call him, he did our theme song. When you listen to our theme
Yes.
song, that's that guy. When I'm watching this episode, and he goes, "Oh, this is the game Concord," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so. Never heard of it." He's like, "Yeah, I mean, probably because it just completely bombed." And I was like, "What do you mean?" So I Googled it, right?
Okay.
This is what fucked up this game was. So they make this game that's supposed to rival Overwatch. Doesn't, completely fails. And so let's see, it came out in August 23rd, 2024. By
Okay.
September 6th, 2024, 2 weeks after its launch, all sold copies were being refunded and it was shut down.
What?
By
They were
October wait, there's more. By October 29th, Sony announced closure of the Firewalk studio and halted all game development for the game. So within like 2 weeks, they had this huge launch, and 2 weeks the game completely failed, destroyed an entire studio, and it was dead on arrival.
What?
So
That's
this is the
crazy.
Guardians of the Galaxy short that they played.
I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy one. I did enjoy that.
So did I, but that was like just like Interstellar. I was like, this you're just making Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I can put any of those characters into any of these bits right now.
See, and that's the whole thing. Okay, so in the heist on that,
Yeah.
I liked the purple cat alien thing with the guns
Yeah.
that was inside the mascot outfit. I loved the way their plan didn't come
Yeah.
together, but it was Guardians. You know,
Yeah.
it legit was just.
So I was like,
it
oh, I
was
love these
Guardians.
weird aliens doing a heist, all kind of being mean to each other, then fucking up. And I was like, oh, it's Guardians.
You're like, there's a reason I enjoy this.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, fun fact that game destroyed an entire studio.
so here's the other thing. Like, the Warhammer one I thought had some good like gore stuff in it.
Oh yeah, I couldn't
like
tell you what that was about, but holy shit, those fight scenes when they come in with their fucking tank armor, whatever it's called, and just annihilated motherfuckers, it was insane, dude. They're all like shooting at him. They're just walking, like not phased, just fucking. One dude literally grabbed the dude's head and just squished it like a
Squished.
grape.
Yes. So like while it was full of that, I had no idea. Couldn't tell you what was happening. Don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I liked what I saw.
Yeah, there's the one
Oh.
dude who like he's like shooting at him in the face, and he's just like holding him, and then he just fucking headbutts him, and just crushes his face with a headbutt.
Like, so yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, again, without being able to really talk about what the story was, like,
Yeah.
I can tell you what Wikipedia says it is.
Hey, what does Wikipedia say it's about?
Wikipedia says Sergeant Metataris
I was gonna say
acknowledges,
something, but I didn't want to.
yeah,
I can't say it on air.
Mataris. What?
Yes, you get it.
Yeah, I get you. Me TARDIS. I got you. Yes, I know. Acknowledges.
Mental.
Shout out to Big Dan. Sergeant Mataris acknowledges briefing of a mission to destroy a relic before donning his power armor, and reflects that he had recruited a youth who knew no fear, rather than needing it trained out of him to become a space marine. He and his squad, who include Lieutenant Titus, drop to a planet dragging a stone sarcophagus. They battle chaos cultists and eventually reach the relic, a statue. There, the sarcophagus opens, revealing a psyker who provides the team with psychic force field, powerful. See, this already gets so crazy. I have no idea what these fucking things are.
No.
A powerful chaos sorcerer flanks the Marines and kills the psyker. The sorcerer freezes time, and then
that was cool when he froze time.
Right. And then psychically attacks each Marine by preying on their deepest fears. It reaches Metataris, who sees Titus becoming corrupted into a Chaos Marine, and he falls. Titus resists the sorcerer's attack, and he kills it. Titus contacts a Marine spacecraft and calls in an orbital strike on the relic. Metatarsus is resigned to death, but Titus disagrees, drags Metatarsus out, and turns to face an oncoming horde. Okay, great, but there's so fucking much in 15 minutes.
Right now, last time I heard, I don't know what's going on with it in the future, but so Superman himself, a former Superman himself, Henry Cavill, is apparently making a Warhammer movie. Like, he's producing it and has been pushing. Apparently, he's a big Warhammer fan. He's like secretly been, he's a big computer nerd video game computer nerd, and he's been pushing a Warhammer movie. And I really didn't know much about it. I never played the game, but watching that battle sequence, dude, I'm in.
It was sick.
It was the coolest battle. It was so epic. That was by far one of the coolest shit I've ever seen. But yeah, I hope.
Makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
maybe the movie
know
will.
What a psyker is.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what a psyker is. I don't know what a Chaos Marine is. Like, all of that shit.
But maybe that's where it'd be better as a movie or a show or something, as more fleshed out. Because I mean, look at we talked about Arcane. I mean, that's a League of Legends show. Even though I know nothing about League of Legends, I think the show still works.
You can understand Arcane, and it works. Yeah, but you also have 18 episodes of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, to jump right into this, that's the thing with using like lingo or anything like that in something. Like recently, and this will tell you. Oh my God, this will tell you about my life. One of the things I did get myself for my birthday is just because I couldn't do. I am doing, and I'm still going to finish it eventually. I'm doing another playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, just because. But I needed a new game. I needed something different in my life. So I went to fucking the store, the Nintendo store, and they had the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts Legacy game.
Yeah. They
had that on sale with the DLCs for like under $20.
That's pretty sick. That's a good deal.
So great deal, and so far great game. But all of that to say this, like, that's the thing with lingo. Like, you look at Harry Potter, when you start like creating a language, when you start creating any of that, and this is where I think these Warhammer short, or this Warhammer short, and some of these can get into some tricky territory, is if you've built that lore, that vibe, that way of talking, that lingo, that whatever, fucking, you have to sit with it for a minute before you understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to hear the word muggle 40 times
to get it.
To understand what it means. You have to hear these things to get to know it. Anthony Burgess in A Clockwork Orange, when he wrote the book, that was another thing. So he crafted a language that you begin to understand as you continue to read through the book, what certain things mean, right? Like droogs, homies, buddies. Alex and his ne'er-do-well friends is a
Yeah.
droog, his droogie, his homie. The way they go through, but it takes you 20 pages.
So I mean, would does this Warhammer short make you want to watch the movie
I would
show?
watch the movie in a heartbeat. I would watch this movie in a heartbeat. And I would only remember the gore. The other ones, like, let's see. So,
Well, there's the other one. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember the main character's name because it sounded like Amos. Where he was like the orphan who like put himself up for the testing or whatever, and then just kept like losing limbs to meet this girl.
okay, that's Outer Worlds, the
Outer
company we keep.
Yeah, I just remember his
The
name was
company.
Amos.
Yeah.
Literally just kept thinking they called him Anus. He's a little anus.
He's working on the backwater planet sorting trash. One day he happens upon a man putting up posters, ask him to read it for him, posters for a job as a test subject for Auntie Cleo and the mega corporation. Yeah, I don't remember that one that well. I think I was checked out during that one, honestly.
I like that one. It definitely sticks to what you're saying. Like they talk about stuff like the girl that he's into. She's trying to become a thing that I don't really understand what it is. They have a name
Right.
for it. I don't fucking even remember. Whatever. But I think that's a good story because he like is getting tested, literally losing limb after limb. Like either getting eaten by a monster or like pouring acid on him. They do a thing where they drown all the people with this pill to see if it'll stop them from drowning. Like he literally is just living through like the worst torture, so he can like get closer to this doctor who is his girl he met this one time, and then he like finds out that she's trying whatever she's going for. All these tests are made to do something bad, and he figures that out. Then he's gonna go rat her out, but then decides not to. That's because she like apologizes to him, and then that's the end of it. Like she gets to live her dream, and he gets to live as honest anus.
Honest anus. But like that's the thing. A simple apology will sometimes get you very, very far, James.
And I was like, this fucking poor guy. He's lost literally almost his whole body for nothing.
That should tell you about testing in general and where we are as a species, though, James. A lot of these, and that's the thing in a lot of these fucking video games and a lot of everything else, is like they do sort of do a really good job of like setting up like, these they ask like bigger questions sometimes, right? And the way they showcase even small sort of mundane stuff or whatever, to set up like bigger sort of issues. Because what does that talk to about like anything from medical testing to weapons testing to all of this fucking testing? Like they need human subjects at some point, you know? And it's nefarious, and it's all for industry, and it's all for 1,000 different ways to fucking try and kill you.
It's not like you get paid that well.
Exactly. It's fucking.
But it makes me always think of that episode of Workaholics where they're like, "Where do you get you guys gonna drug test?" And then Blake is like, "Well, what drugs are we testing?"
what drugs are we testing? Ha ha ha! Like I love that show. I love that show. I love those guys. But yeah, it really like it's one of those things where it is like it is sort of terrifying, like because in a different sort of timeline, in a different sort of whatever, like we can get to that fucking point, man. You know what I mean? Like we all could be,
especially when people are just desperate and poor, like they are right now. You know what I mean?
I'd do some science testing, motherfucker. Like I'll do some science testing in a heartbeat.
But
I'm not even playing. Like go find something for me to stick my arm into. Let's see.
I mean, if I get a cool robot arm, I'd be down. I always wanted like just a sick robot arm.
Just put some cancer in my arm for a minute, cut it off, give me a robot arm. I'm fine. Like that's cool. How bad is that cancer arm, bro? Let me tell you. Like I don't know.
All right, what shorts did we miss? What else we missed? There's a couple here.
The last one with the
New World, Unreal Tournament, we talked Warhammer, Pac-Man, Crossfire. That was like the military one. The Armored Core. What the fuck was that one? An augmented core pilot is drinking at a bar. I don't remember this one.
Which one was it? What number? Armored Core Asset
That's
Management.
8.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe is that the one they're playing chess? It looks like it's a Japanese game.
He and the other AIs discuss the pilot's remarkable synchronicity as he disables the mechs.
Oh no, that's not. I don't know. I can't think of what episode that is.
That's the pilot one. That's the Keanu Reeves one.
Right.
We didn't really discuss, Armored Core.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know what it was about, because I didn't know what it was about when I watched it.
It wasn't great, man. That one could have been a lot better.
But what I will say is that if you notice that, Keanu Reeves has all those like things on him in the short, and it was because he did all his mocap with a fucking knee brace on.
That's wild to me, dude. That is wild. Could you imagine having to go through and do that with a fucking
See if I can find the
knee
story.
brace?
Because there's like a whole story behind it where they like, oh, he just refused to like take it easy. Because he's fucking Keanu Reeves and wants to give it all.
That man ain't ever gonna take it easy, I don't think, and I don't think he should. Like, I don't know. They talk about perfect people. Keanu Reeves, I think, is one of those. Like, I don't know. I think the world needs 10 Keanu Reeves in it.
I'm still looking. Yeah, I'm reading up the whole quote right here. Oh, Reeves fought through illness and injury for secret level. Insane.
I love it.
Trying to find the part.
I love it. But like that's the thing. Like that guy's got dedication to it. While you look for it, this one reminded me of a couple of movies in the 80s. There was one, I think it is simply called Robot Wars.
So this is the full quote where it says, "Yeah, and then I'll tell you this little story." This is I don't know who's saying the quote. I think it's Tim Miller, but someone making the show said this quote. I can't see. Yeah, I think it's Tim Miller. He says, "Yeah, and then I'll tell you this little story because you hear this all the time around town about how wonderful he is and how prepared and kind and generous he is. He lives up to all the hype. I thought at some point the facade was going to fall, and the truth is to never meet your heroes is going to come out." So 2 weeks before filming, we get an email. It's like, "Dave, Tim, I got bad news. I fractured my kneecap. And blah, blah, blah." I'm skimming to the bottom of the email where he's going to tell me that he can't do it. And he's like, "But I've learned all my lines. I'm off book. I can take the brace off. I can shoot for 5 minutes at a time." And I'm like, oh my God, he's still going to do it. So I'm like, don't worry about it. Keep your brace on. We'll give your character a limp and a brace.
Perfect. Like,
that's a fucking committed actor to be like, I'm hurt, I'm injured, but we signed up, so like, I'll work with you, you work with me situation.
And I like, not only do I really, really respect that, and do I really, really fucking love that, but the fact that the guy making this knows that, okay, well, we've got our character design, we've got our whatever. Like, I don't know how much of it was, obviously not too much of it was done before mocap, but I'm sure they had to add in, like, somebody was sitting there, like, making keystrokes and designing and drawing.
They're like, you had to go back a little bit. I said they have to make this movie 4 different times, so at some point, they're like, oh, you have to change a bunch of these animatics to fit this.
So, like, I get it, but somebody, that was a bad day for them. They were like, God damn it. Like, couldn't they just find somebody else?
That's the story that made me want to watch this show. I read that and I was like, oh, that's amazing. So that was the episode I was literally most hyped for, hearing that story and how awesome Keanu Reeves is. And I was like, damn.
And then it's one of the ones that kind of falls flat.
Yeah.
That
Sorry,
just sort of goes by the wayside. Just sort of goes. But what do you do, man? What do you do? It is what it is. Um, Other than that, James, I think we've hit almost all of them with the
Oh,
exception of
the
like the
last one.
final one.
Yeah, so you know the last one's not actually a video game. It's
Right.
like a thing based off of all PlayStation video. I guess I didn't really understand the total concept of the world. I'm assuming that the girl represents you as a player going through PlayStation Network.
Yeah. And like I guess that's the delivery
Or
aspect
upgrading,
of it.
because the end of the episode, the world that she enters in, the building that she's standing in front of is actually in the shape of a PS5. So
Yep.
I looked at it as maybe it's like her moving on to the next PlayStation. You know, like I've been playing PS4 now for so long that now it's time to move on.
So here's like there's a little bit in here. It says the stranger is shown to be her friend Johnny, and O agrees to play again with him. The motorcycle reappearing and Johnny transforming into the Colossus again. So I would assume that the idea would be that like, okay, we've had these adventures with these people across, our network for this amount of time. We're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they will be back in the next thing. They'll be back in the next thing. So that's the way I looked at it, is like, regardless of which platform we're in, and yeah, the building's shaped like PS5, we're moving on to the next thing, but we're still going to be playing the same games, the same characters, the same thing. It'll just be, you won't lose what you had, is the way I sort of look at it.
And I get that, which is probably because I do like it. I just was a little lost at first of like, wait, this isn't an actual game. Because at first, like, I think it was actually Will who said something. He's like, is this just an Amazon, like, delivery game or something? That's what it feels like. I was like, oh, is this really just like that's the video game? You're a delivery person?
You're a delivery driver rolling around. Like, no, but I get the idea of having to drop the loads. Dropping loads. Dropping fucking loads. Yeah, I don't know. It could have ended stronger. If you're going to go outside of a video game world for a video game, but you're trying to still tie everything together in that thing, they could have done better.
And maybe I don't play enough PlayStation too, because I didn't get a lot of besides like the God of War, like I didn't really catch a lot of it.
Yeah, and I don't play a lot of PlayStation either. I would like to see one of this style done, and I'm sure everybody would say the same thing. Across the system that I play on.
Imagine like you but like even if you go back in PlayStations of like, she goes to like the PlayStation 1 world where everything's like a little more blocky.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And
like Earthworm Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like
old
fucking...
Tomb Raider, And then they get like PlayStation 2 where like the menu was like that weird space kind of menu thing. And Kingdom Hearts and stuff.
I would like to see it set firmly inside of like a Nintendo world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And pulling from like those sort of properties. Could you imagine like basically like doing Donkey Kong, but it's fucking like King Kong status? You know what I mean?
That's fun shit. I mean, that's why I really want to go to Nintendo World in Florida.
Right. But like, could you imagine like a properly done like you could tell and they have, I mean, Nintendo has, but if you were to do it in sort of these type of styles with like a truly dark like Zelda story, that would be badass.
That would be
sick. That would be amazing.
Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah, step it up. Maybe that's who Amazon's doing the next season.
Yeah, I mean, so there is a second season. So I guess I can ask you, let's close it out. What are your final thoughts? Are you excited at all? Would you watch a second season of this, and what are you going to give it?
I would say a success is what I'll give it. I would watch it. Success. I would watch it. I would watch it all day, every day. but I would want it to be, at least for me, I would want it to be a fucking like maybe a little bit more sort of like common name characters. I would
Yeah.
like to see the bigs before we dump, but maybe these are the bigs. Like that's
Yeah,
the
it's
thing, and
true.
I just don't.
Yeah, we don't keep up with it.
Yeah, and I just don't keep up with it. But like that's the thing. I would like to see a more sort of traditional, or at least that's why Pac-Man excited me. Like
Same.
that's why Pac-Man really kind
So
of.
I was like, oh, between Keanu Reeves and then Pac-Man. Also, it's weird because Keanu Reeves literally made. He's in a video game that came out not too long ago. Like, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago? Like, why is
Right.
that not the short you make with Keanu Reeves? Instead, you just do.
The one that he's already in.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's a good point. But yeah, I would watch a second season. That would be my only sort of thing is like make it the people I know, sir, please and thank you. But other than that, no. Like I dig the style. I dig the concept. Unless you know the game, a lot of it'll go over your average viewer's head. But visually, it's still just great. I mean, fuck, if you want to, turn the volume. This is gonna sound terrible. Turn the volume down, crank up some fucking stoner, some doom metal, and fucking.
That's what I actually remember from the Warhammer one, the first fight scene. There's actually no sound for a minute. It's like I think it's either like a track or it's like quiet, and you're just seeing annihilation with like zero sound. It was pretty sick. Yeah.
That shit I am into, man. Like I am into. So I don't know, bro. I dug it. I will watch. I will watch more. What about you?
Well, I'm gonna give it a
Success.
Yeah, I really dig it actually. I think it like tickles my fancy of how insane technology is truly getting, and like what we really can do. And I love the artistry and the hard work that takes to make something like this is fucking bonkers. I can't even like fully understand it, to be honest. Between like storyboarding, modeling, motion capture, like you're creating these high definition worlds that are literally nothing and just pixels.
Yeah,
like nothing
and
exists.
that's the wildest thing. It's getting to a point to where there are moments in this that you're almost like, is that a person?
Yeah.
Is that? No, it's not. Obviously, it's not. No, never mind. No, it's animated. Like there are a couple of
Like
moments.
we're getting
that took me out.
so very, very close to Uncanny Valley being not Uncanny Valley.
Yeah,
which
to
is
being like your
bonkers.
fucking next door neighbor, bro.
Yeah.
Like to it being your fucking homies, bro. Like that's what scares me. Like that's genuinely terrifying.
But yeah, I love the way they're pulling it off, and also it still has an artsiness. Like so, the violence is like beautiful to look at, and even like the said my favorite one's the second episode because I think that has the fullest story to me. Like I didn't need to know what the video game was. This guy's dad is dead. He goes on a murderous rampage, and he keeps aging up. And I love at the end where he eats with the old lady, and he's like now like 100 years old because he keeps dying, trying to murder this guy. And this art style is great. It has a very like anime plus like 3D like vibe to it, and I fucking love that. But yeah, I just wish I understood more. If I understood these games more, I think I would like more of the show. And I think it's because I don't know these games that I'm not understanding the show, which I think is a big problem.
And that's the only catch. Like for me, that's the same thing. Like that's the only thing that could make me
that's what I'll say
enjoy it.
about Love, Death, and Robots. Like all those stories are stories. Like they don't feel like video game cutscenes where like this one does more.
Because they're not based on video games, man. You know what I mean? Because they're not. Because it is a separate thing, sort of like just all together.
Like you remember that one short story where it's just the giant on the beach?
And they climb into its butthole.
Yeah,
totally.
But
Totally.
And also, like, Will, we were talking about it, and he said something to me of like, isn't it crazy that like all of this starts with Steamboat Willie? You know, like what was once innovative to like add sound and make someone's belly jiggle is now like we can add highlights to like we can create water that doesn't
You can-
exist.
that ripples.
Yeah.
That ripples. You can create a drop of water that ripples through time and space, changes the color of the walls around
Yeah.
it, opens up an entire new universe for somebody to walk across and into. Yeah, bro. It is fascinating that that's where it starts, is with just pen, paper, and like basically a flip book.
Yeah. And that's the innovative technology I love. But yeah, I just wish it was less, I guess, less video game. Yeah, or just like more. But I will say, I do think this is a better way to approach some adaptations. Like I actually think doing it like a Halo episode of this, rather than the Halo show that they did make, is like would be a lot better. You know, or I think
The Halo show they made, are you talking about Red vs. Blue?
no, the one on Paramount,
Oh, okay.
the live action show they put out, not Red vs. Blue.
Well, Red vs. Blue is a thing I
Yeah.
think we need to talk about.
You probably
on
should talk
here at
about
some
it. Yeah,
point.
we never haven't talked about it, and that's also an interesting animated thing to talk about because it's made in game. It's like an in-game animated thing. You know what I mean? Like they're shooting it in the game, which is such a like unique way of like filmmaking when you think about it.
It's deeply fascinating because like so how bored and how stoned do you have to be to
Well, that's
so
like
I say it that way, but also like how clever do you think your friends are that you guys can sit there and like instead of actually playing the game, you're just gonna let's move
Do
from
bits.
this one to this one and talk about stupid shit and like let's just screen record and like it's genius.
And-
it is genius. It's very funny. It's very good.
I got an ad today actually. So someone during COVID made Hamlet in GTA, and IFC Center is like doing a screening of it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. They made Hamlet.
Yeah, like
in
the
GTA.
whole Hamlet, but in GTA during COVID.
That's insane.
Yeah,
People are crazy.
yeah.
They're like but also like deeply fascinating. Like that is wild to me. Now
Yeah.
I wouldn't have imagined.
But yeah, so I think some video games would be better at this kind of adaptation. But yeah, better stories next time. But I'm down for season 2. And actually, some of these episodes I'll rewatch. I'll watch that Warhammer sequence probably after this because it was fucking
I'll
epic.
watch that Pac-Man one
Yeah.
again. Like 110
Yeah.
times. Like I loved that. And now I want the game. I desperately want the game.
Yeah,
I would play it.
yeah. So I'll give it the old. Pull it back up here.
Success.
Yeah.
So with all of that, James,
Yeah.
what are we gonna look at next week? What are we gonna see?
So actually, next week's our 200th episode, which I've said have not made the extravaganza that was our 100th episode. But weirdly, I've always had this thought that I wanted to do this show for our 200th episode. Never thinking if we ever got there, because it's actually a show that I hated when I was younger. Because there was one show that we did talk about here, and then they like took the dark show and they made this goofy version of it instead, and it really bummed me out. And then as I got older, I started to appreciate it and be like, "Oh, this is actually like really funny." Then it's smart, and it's I want to talk about Batman: Brave and the Bold.
Batman: Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, it was made in 2011. Diedrich Bader. That was the first time he
Yes.
played Batman. Because now he's Batman and Harley and stuff, and now King Shark, if you watch, Creature Commandos. But I've been dying to talk about this show because I wrote it off so long ago thinking it was this dumb, silly fucking... to me, they ruined Batman. Because...
Oh, fuck. They ruined Batman even.
At least now I don't feel that way anymore. But I did when I was younger because I had this... we talked about the show The Batman.
Yes.
And that show was like... it was goofy, but it was still like darker kind of Batman. And then Brave and the Bold is like just goofy all the way through. And every episode he's teaming up with like a different person. There's a really funny episode with Aquaman, and Aquaman sings this song that is hilarious.
This looks like something special, James. 2008?
Yeah. I think it went on to like 2011, I believe.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's super goofy. I
I
haven't
see
watched
big
really.
fat Batman back here. What in the hell?
Yeah, there's like an episode where he goes. There's like all these like different Batman. Like, you know, they do like a Spider-Verse Batman thing. I think even before Spider-Verse even came out. But you got Plastic Man, Booster Gold episodes. You kind of got it all in here. Yeah, and it's all classics. You like all the villains, and the style of it's meant to feel like really like Golden Age superhero.
Nice. Well, I mean, he's got the classic 60s Batman suit on.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like the gray, blue, and yellow.
Yeah, what you said, that's why I'm never, I mean, even to this day, I'm not a blue Batman kind of guy. Like, I don't like blue Batman. I like gritty fucking, you know, like old, just black and gray Batman that just hates life and wants to punch criminals in the face.
That hates life and wants to punch criminals.
But this show, there's episodes of Batmite. I mean, you know, it's got like what I do learn to appreciate is that there is a goofiness to Batman that I think this show actually like does really well.
Sort of taps into.
Yeah.
All right.
Because Batman is goofy, like, at the end of the day.
Batman's very goofy, James. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Like, he's a detective. I get it. It's cool. It's fine. But he's goofy, bro. He's goofy. He's a grown man who picks a bat and then like
he's putting the fear into the criminals, all right? He's taking his fear and making it their fear. Okay.
Yeah, and then he runs around in tights and plays with chemicals.
It's armor, goddammit. All right.
On that note, James, where can people find us again?
You know, on Fantasy Shed, everywhere, on YouTube, Totally Toonular. Our email, hit us up, totally.toonular@gmail.com. Send us an email. Maybe actually next week I'll set up a number people will call us to, and I'll try to see who I can grab who wants to come on and talk some Batman.
Ooh la la, that would be great. Do it.
200 episodes. Can't believe we made it this far. I remember saying on our 100th episode that if we got to 200, that I wanted a big live show with like hot girls and like fireworks and and then rock bands and shit. But you know,
there's always Steeler Fest.
Yeah,
James.
that's what Steeler Fest is about.
We can record live at Steeler Fest, bro.
that would be bad.
Too much.
Yeah,
it'd be too much for the night. Too much. But all right, brother. Until next time.
All right, let's get out of
Brave
here.
and the bold.
Yeah.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman. Well, don't do it, Cartman. Well, I'm warning you. Okay.
Hello, peasants.
Wanna kill all humans?
Work there, dude.
We'd like some money. Yeah, money. Money is